Yeah, so my name's William Gilroy. We are currently located at the Excelsior Trust boatyard, and we're currently sat on barge number 9. Barge number 9 was found whilst, well actually she was sent to me by a couple of friends, so it was quite funny that I just so happened to be on a dog walk and we just walked past her and I went, oh, that's that barge that people had sent to me. And the guy was there that I actually ended up buying her off, and I said, oh, we're just passing, can I have a little look at the barge? And he said, sure. And so he took me on the barge. I had a look round. I mean, I was a little bit taken back by the condition of her, but when I went downstairs in the hull and I sort of saw the space and thought about the history and what, you know, at that point I didn't know the full history of her, but just thought 100, you know, nearly 100 years old, you know, and I just thought, well, you know, I think this boat could do with saving, and I didn't really know whether I was able to do it, but I thought, well, you know, what have I got to lose, and, you know, why not have a go? So barge number 9, when we found her, was situated over at Thorpe St Andrew in Norwich. We brought her down the river on a 3-day mission to bring her to Excelsior Yard, and our mission is to turn barge number 9 into hopefully a floating tea room bar restaurant. And to do that, we've got lots of people within the community with lots of professional backgrounds. To give you an example, one of our guys, Des, who's working today, he's a chief engineer at a large factory, and he's sort of overlooking the project. We've got a marine architect engineer working behind the scenes, and we're doing everything from spec and drawing to hopefully make sure that we conform with building regs and things like that. Obviously we found barge number 9 up at Thorpe St Andrew. She was in a bit of a bad state because I think the chap that had plans to sort of turn her into a houseboat again, and I don't think he really got round to having the time to do it. But we soon learned after we took the barge, and we actually did some research, that there was actually a bit of a story behind her. So what we later have found out, well, barge number 9, she's basically a barge that was built for a Bristol company. That company basically had her made over in New Holland, and it was based on a Lincolnshire barge design. So she's not humbuckeel, as a lot of people think that she is. She served as a dredger as Severn Venturer Waterboat number 9. That was her original name that we found out. The company that had her commission was then brought out by Cadbury's. Cadbury's then turned her into a refuelling tanker to help with, I guess, moving cocoa beans across the water, I don't know, or down the river. So she served with Cadbury's for quite some time, and then Lowestoft Harbour brought her probably around about 80 or so years ago, when they started bringing the new diesel fishing vessels into Lowestoft, and there's a model of her in Lowestoft Museum. She then served for Lowestoft for Small & Co. Her name was Crask, so a lot of people in the town would know her as Crask. That was the family of the people that owned her. And she was then a refuelling tanker for lots of ships coming in to Lowestoft and out of Lowestoft for a service. She was commandeered in the war. She even served on Richard Branson's Atlantic Challenger 2, refuelling his ship. We've got lots of pictures of Richard on the barge. Then Esso brought her out, and she worked a new service, a new refuelling service for Lowestoft, and then she was finally taken as a refuelling tanker, some bought her as a boat for up at Thorpe for a houseboat up at Thorpe St Andrew. She's even got a World War II landing craft engine still inside her that we unfortunately can't reuse, because we will be a static operation when we're up and running as a tea room bar restaurant, but we are going to have the engine all reconditioned and put on display in the hull. And then after she worked for Esso, she sat on the bank for about 10 years, sort of unfortunately deteriorating, when a couple over in Norwich took her over and turned her into a houseboat, and she was a houseboat for about another 30 years after that. Obviously when we first started about a year and a half ago, it was a very tedious and long a long operation just to get all the rust off, and it was very painstakingly done with around about 30 volunteers, and it was done with grinders and chipping hammers, which just basically have a point on the end. So, and we did the entire outside and inside with that method. The idea is to obviously complete all the rust and get all the getting all the rust off, then treating the metal, so obviously we can try and avoid as much rust happening again in the future. But the idea was to make a 2-tier tea room bar restaurant, the top part being disabled access, so we want to have a toilet upstairs and ramps, so to facilitate people that are struggling with any kind of movement. Unfortunately, they won't be able to go in the hull because there's only so much we can do with the space that we've got, but we do want to have a kind of steampunk kind of vibe going on in the barge. So we want to have a glass facade and a big awning, retractable awning on the top. Downstairs will be tables and chairs and a coffee shop. There'll be toilets on both top and bottom decks. And once we're up and running, the idea will be to have, to do tapas. We'll do breakfast and lunch and have sort of a tapas meal with different craft beers and different wines, but keeping all affordable for the community. We also have had a mini grand piano donated to us, which we've had completely upholstered and French polished, and we're going to sit that on the stage area at the front, so at weekends or Saturday evenings we can have sort of pianos playing and various instruments playing whilst people are dining, or for entertainment afterwards. As you know, we've got a couple of projects on undergo, but right now barge number 9 is one of those. Now we are recruiting people who are in the community who are struggling with mental health, loneliness, and people in the area that probably don't have a lot going on in life and just want to be part of something within the community to integrate and to do some good within the community. So at the moment people are coming to us from our website, they're coming to us from just dropping into the boatyard, or we do lots of events throughout the year and people are showing an interest and they're coming down and being part of the team. Well, there's lots of ways that it helps them really. I mean, the first one is obviously getting them out of the house, because some people do get to a point where they get quite stagnant within their own surroundings, and so for us it's bringing people to a place of work where they can come, join together, use their brains, talk to each other, and also whilst they're working, talk about personal things, talk about life experiences, but also passing on skills, because we've got people of all ages all the way up to nearly 90, and we've got people as young as 16. So we're combining people with old skills and helping youngsters learn new skills. Yeah, so one of our biggest obstacles really at the moment, we've come almost as far as we can come with funding. We run a man and van service that generates money. We do events in the summer that generate money, but we're now coming to a point where our outgoings are quite high with mooring fees, utility fees, and some of the equipment now, we're now at the stage where we're going to need things like kitchens, bathrooms, and things that are quite expensive. So right now, even with our fundraising and our events, we're now finding that we need to try and get an injection of funding really. Now we've had lots of people get involved. We've had over 30 different businesses now get involved with various support, from giving us free items, giving us tools, giving us equipment. But right now it's funding really that we need. So we're really trying to call out to lots of local businesses that might have community pots where they're set aside to help projects in the community. We're looking for people who want to companies or people that are happy to donate and try and help us raise the money, because we need to actually raise now with our utilities and fees £130,000. We have raised £160,000 to date, and that's through our own work and our own investment. But that now has come to a point where we need to find other funding. Now, anyone that wants to get involved, we're either looking for one company or one person sponsor who want to help us. We will obviously in return brand them with their logos if they want to sponsor it. It could be that the barge is only one part of our plan, if you like. The barge is to sustain a mental health project in Lowestoft at Anchor Point. So it could be that all the work that we do there, these companies get tagged in all of our community works, which obviously means that they're contributing into lots of help in the community long term. Anyone that gets involved financially, or whether they work or whether they donate, we put their name on a big plaque that will go in the barge. And I guess we're just now at the stage where we're just looking for a little bit of help, a little bit of sponsorship within the community, somebody to believe in us as much as the guys that come on board with us, to hopefully try and just give us that little bit of boost to try and get us across the line, because we need that now. We are a local community project trying to help those suffering with mental health. Right now we're trying to raise the last bit of money that we need to get her across the line and hopefully get her finished as a tea room bar restaurant for the community. If any companies out there or individuals, multi-individuals or multi-companies want to get involved, please get in touch on the details below. So I started the charity for a few different reasons. The first reason was I become a full-time dad to my little boy, Noah. He has autism, so I had to actually take time away from work. I had a job in London working environmental protection. But the reason I took the job, or the reason I'm passionate about the role, is I had a bit of a troubled upbringing. So, you know, raised in foster care, went through many foster homes, children's homes. Unfortunately, I eventually found myself on the wrong side of the law, and I did eventually spend some time in prison. Whilst my time in prison was obviously not the best, I did find that I was able to do my GCSEs and A-levels. Subsequently, I then went on to go to a very good university in the UK, Goldsmiths, where I went on to get a degree and then went on to work for lots of big corporate companies, and not just work for corporate companies, but actually become fairly successful within those companies. So I think, given my background in the corporate world, but also my background with a troubled start in life, I feel that I was able to not only understand lots of young people and people with problems, but also run the organisation as a charity with my business background. So I believe my upbringing was the reason for feeling passionate about what I'm trying to achieve, and that's helping people. But I think with that corporate edge, that allows me to be successful in my ambition. Yeah, so this is Anchor Point House. This will be our barge headquarters. The idea is, when the barge is up and running, the profits from the barge will go into our Anchor Point House. Services here that we'll offer, we've got 3 rooms. They're called Mind, Body and Soul. Our mind room will be mindfulness, so it'll be everything from yoga, meditation, mindfulness therapy, sound baths and things that are like. Then we have the body room that we're sat in right now, and that'll be Indian head massage. It will be eye therapy, eye movement therapy, massage therapy, vibration and sound therapy. And then the last room is our soul room, and that's where we'll be coordinating art therapy, sewing classes, craft workshops, colouring, things like that. And we do have one final room, which is our therapy room for people to have one-to-one therapy.
We're standing here at Anchor Point. This is another part of the project where we have a mind and body room, we've got a quiet room, and obviously we've got a kitchen and facilities, and other people will be coming here hopefully to help with their mental health.
So right now we're just running through and getting all our policies in line and making sure that we are fit for purpose. So we have to tick a lot of boxes in terms of our requirements to make sure it's a safe environment. But again, at the moment we're about halfway through the getting the place fit for use. So as you may see when you come in, we need new flooring, we need more sound baths, we need mats, we need lots of equipment to make sure that we can run the services or the courses that we aim to run.
At Anchor Point we still have got furnishings, painting, decorating and joinery work to complete, and we'll progress quite nicely. We just need a bit more funding.
So the idea or the plan is, once we're up and running, is the workshops can be utilised by other people in the community that run workshops. We ask that they donate a day of their time to our workshops, so they basically work for us for a day, and then they can utilise the space for the rest of the week doing their own workshops, because we will predominantly do a 2-day week. We'll do a 12-week course for people in the community. 2 days of that is only spent doing the course a week. The first day will be here, using the different workshops to help them, with their mental health, help them learn if they have mental health, and if they have, what best way to deal with that, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through a course of better eating, better exercise. But the idea is they'll have a day here doing the workshops, and then they'll have a day working in the community. So we'll go out as a big team. We've got access to a minibus and all the work tools, and we'll go out and either do anything from a water talk, litter pick, or we obviously run a home maintenance service, so we'll go and do work for maybe little old ladies or disabled people, or schools or premises that don't have much funding. So the idea is that we'll do a 12-week course. At the end of that 12-week course, providing they turn up and do enough or have enough attendance, they'll get a nice treat at the end, paid for via the barge once the barge is up and running. But the idea is for them to get that big treat and complete the course. Once they've done the course, they've worked on their identity, their purpose, because that's our pillars and how we work. The idea is they'll actually be out, before they get the special treat, they need to have secured either a part-time or full-time paid or unpaid job, which we'll assist and help with through our lady that will help do our career side of things. They must enrol in college, or if they've got an idea where they want to start their own business, we're going to work with various people within the town to maybe help them set up their own little businesses, if we can, of course.
Hello, my name's Rosemary. Before we even started work on the barge, we had to build the polytunnel. So I was happy to help painting there, organising the kitchen, anything that was needed, making drinks and helping to organise the tools and things like that. And then once we were up and running, as far as the barge was concerned, it needed a lot of stripping off underneath, clearing all of the dirt off and the old rust and whatever.
Oh, at least you found out while you're here.
Grind, and then we had to paint it all with oxide.
Love it.
That would have been one of the first jobs we did. And then generally just chipping off, because we did a lot of the work without machinery. And so we had to literally chip a lot on the sides, and then painting, anything that was needed. I was there regularly.
We've had the anchor point for approximately about a year now, and it's in progress, it's work in progress. We've still got quite a wee bit of work to do to get it complete, and we're going to hopefully complete this by Christmas this year, and hopefully we can start to get people involved in the community.
I think mostly I learned some new skills because I've never done any grinding before. My painting's improved, and most of all it's just lovely to be part of such a wonderful group. So I think what I've gained from it is a whole new friendship group, people that perhaps I would not have met in any other way. So that's what I've gained a lot.
So right now we've got as far as we can, both at the barge financially, but also here at Anchor Point. We have got limited painting left to do, but after that it will be the equipment need to set up the classes. We're currently sorting out the timetables of the class that we run. The rooms that we have, we've obviously got the mind, body and soul room. So this one that we're sitting in now is our mind room, and this room will be used for, as mentioned before, the yoga, meditation, mindfulness therapy, breathing techniques, sound baths, and things like that. Then next door we have the body room. In the body room, that will be where we hopefully do the eye movement therapy, have body massage, Indian head massage, and that will be a place where people can actually have a bit of a relaxation and kind of just feel a little bit back in touch with their own body, essentially. And then finally our soul room, and that's just across the way there, and that room will be predominantly used for art therapy, crafts, and a space where people can get together, do lots of activities, talk about life, and just generally just get busy and take their mind off of every day-to-day problems.